Hi, I'm Mitesh Jeff, and I am a mindfulness and meditation practitioner, author, as well as an inspirational speaker. And this is In Conversation with the Masters. And in this series, I will be in conversation with open minded, open hearted, and conscious living people from across the globe who will be answering some of life's most profound questions. And today, we are having a conversation with Ashraf Moorad. Ashraf, thank you so much for making time to have a chat with us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's really an awesome experience to be here with the open-minded people of your community and to share it. So it's a real treat for me to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, it's going to be a real treat for all of us. Let me tell you why, people. Because Ashraf Moorad is a psycho-spiritual empowerment specialist and is the founder of Blissful Living. Ashraf is his work, and anybody that gets to spend even 5 minutes with him will be privy to wisdom and secrets of the universe, unpacking and revealing the essence of who you are, why you are, and even how you are. So I've had the opportunity to see Ashraf in action, and he is on fire in his workshops. And I like to think of Ashraf as a traveling monk because he is in a different city around South Africa every week doing his work. So I know this is going to be quite an interesting conversation. And Ashraf and I go back many, many, many years, and we've had many conversations. So Ashraf, let's hope that this conversation will be just as exciting as the many we've had over the last decade.
Sure. I'm sure it will be. Yeah.
So Ashraf, you are a real pioneer in this. You've done more radio interviews than anyone that I know. So let's not
Yes.
bore you with having, you answer the same old boring questions of who you are. We have Google for that, right? So I want to
Yes.
squeeze as much wisdom as I can from you in this hour. So you all set?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
I'm ready.
right. So Ashraf, recently I've been pondering about what it means to be self-conscious. And I actually realized through my own meditations that no one can actually be self-conscious. Because to be self-conscious is to feel really insecure about oneself. But I find that the terminology is incorrect. You see, if I am eating a powdered donut, are you really self-conscious as you are eating this donut? Are you thinking that I have some of this powder on my lips and I must look really silly? I don't think so, because what you are really thinking is, oh my God, I have this powder on my face. What are others thinking about me? So really, you can't be self-conscious, but you can only be other conscious. But if one feels really secure about himself or herself, then you are at ease and you feel really comfortable and you are free. So Ashraf, can you talk to us about feeling secure? Because I know you have a lot to say on this topic. What
Yes.
is it to be secure, or how do we get to being secure?
All right. So that's what I spent the last 20 years focusing on the experiencing of being secure. So being secure, I need to tell you, is not something that you think. And so you can't think secure and you can't do secure. It's something that you experience. So it's an experience of security. And so what is an experience of security? So we must be clear that we're talking about personal security or inner security, or a lot of people will assume that it's something that you have, and because you have it, you are secure, like a good job or cash and so on and so forth. So security has got nothing to do with anything material, inner security, personal security. And so that which you have in this world often is a reflection of your inner security. So the more inner secure you are, your world will reflect it. But not that because of what you have in your world, you are secure. So security is a state and it's not an experience. But we use language and we say you are experiencing being secure or you are experiencing being insecure. So when you said self-conscious, what does the word conscious mean? It means to be aware. Awareness is not really what the mind does or the body does or the actions or the behaviors do or the emotions do. Awareness is before the body. Awareness is before the mind. Awareness is before the emotions. So awareness is actually outside time and space. Awareness is actually outside time and space, while your mind is in time and space, your body is in time and space, and your emotions are in time and space. So usually we are focused on what our body in time and space is exposed to. So, for example, your eye, your physical eye that you're looking at the screen with, your eyes, they are not aware of themselves. You will never see your own eyes. Your eyes, physical eyes, these things here, they cannot see themselves. They look out into this world, but they will never see themselves. Even if you look into a mirror, you're looking at an image of your eyes, but your eyes will never see themselves. You understand? So when you're thinking, your thinking will never think itself. When your doing will never do itself, or your emotions will never emote itself, in the sense that only you can be aware of what you're thinking. And you can be aware of what your body is perceiving, sensing, and you can be aware of what you're emoting. So you are not your body, you are not your mind. You have a body, you have a mind, and you have emotions, emotional currents. So security takes us beyond the physical world of time and space and positions us to be outside time and space, because you are an invisible being. I've never seen you. I've seen your body, but I've never seen you. I might experience you, but I've never seen you through my eyes, or I've never touched you. I might have hugged you, but I've never, touched you. But so we are not our bodies, and we are not our minds. We have a body, we have a mind, and we have emotions. And so one can be aware that you are before your body, you are before your mind, and you are before your emotions. You exist prior to thinking. I know it was Descartes that said, I think, therefore I am, but it's not really true. You see, because you are, you think. There is, a child sometimes learns to think or learns to use their mind, but they exist before their mind is developed. They exist before, so we exist outside time and space. And security is the awareness of the you that you really are, and the experiencing outside time and space in the now. It's the fifth dimension. You see, time and space, there's three dimensions of space: length, breadth, and depth, and one dimension of time. That means four dimensions in total. That's what's happening in linear time. And our bodies are positioned in linear time. And our minds are usually thinking about what information our body is exposed to. And then our emotions are linked to what our mind is thinking about what the body is experiencing. But your body is localized in time and space. You're not. You are a non-local being. You see? So what that means is you and I can experience through awareness at the dimension of our beingness. So our beingness is different from our thinkingness, our physicality or physicalness, and our emotionalness, our beingness. So being aware allows us to experience. And the experiencing of security is the experiencing of knowing that I am actually okay right here, right now. Right here, right now, I exist. I need nothing to exist. In fact, whatever I require is provided for me right here, right now. Nothing is missing, nothing is lacking. You see, the mind, the body, and the emotions takes for granted the world in which we find our bodies to be. But the awareness is conscious of the fact that this realm that we're operating in is some kind of a theater, and it is our existence is prior to our thinking, you see. So when somebody is identified with the mind, the body, and the emotions, that's termed egoic. That's termed the ego. It's a very shrunken state, which is really a trance. So oftentimes when you get up in the morning and you go through the day and you go to bed at night, you are in what I call an everyday trance. You're in an everyday trance. You are so focused, like you've always existed, like this world has always existed. You take for granted the sort of ideas of society in the marketplace, like it's all like normal, everything is fine, like we all like have an understanding of where we are. We
Mm.
don't begin to explore beyond the fact that we human beings were created species. This universe came from beyond, whether it's a big bang or creation or evolution or whatever, but there is beyond the physical world, the world that is energy, the world that is sustaining the physical world. So the mind, the body, and the emotions usually perceive form and perceive form to be very real. And we work within a form based reality. And then we think a job is something, money is something, a partner is something, and we
Mm.
need this something. And we get so invested in identification and attachment that we actually start rendering ourselves insecure. So, insecurity is a self created state when we look around and believe we need something to be okay. So if you believe without money I'm not okay, with money I'm okay, or if somebody loves me, then I'm
Mm.
okay. If somebody doesn't love me, I'm not okay. If I have a place to live, then I'm okay. If I don't have a place to live. So when we identify with the mind, the body, the emotions in time and space, we actually find ourselves feeling extremely insecure, threatened. I don't have enough,
Mm.
of something, some form. So when we realize that we actually are not those unsurrendered selves, those selves that are identified with time and space, when we realize that we are more than these things, these identities. I'm a man, I'm a teacher, I'm a husband, a father, or whatever it is. When we go beyond thing and form consciousness, and we realize that there is for us to have the awareness of peace that's got nothing to do with money, nothing to do with another person, nothing to do with a job or a house. Peace is, and we can be aware of peace and experience peace multidimensionally,
Mm.
or love is. That right here, right now, love is, peace is, trust is, security
Mm.
is. So once you realize that I don't need anything,
Mm.
for me to feel secure, I am okay now. I realize I can only render myself insecure through the
Yeah.
belief that something is needed. So the more we realize that right here, right now, I am secure. So consider a
Mm.
beggar. What makes a beggar a beggar? And you get a money beggar and you get a love beggar, right? So a money beggar is a person who believes I'm not okay unless I have money. If I have money, then I'll be okay. So they spend their whole day looking out into this world, trying to get money, thinking that if they have money, they'll be okay. So they probably stand on the street corner the whole day and they are trying to get money. That's what makes a beggar really insecure. It's not that a beggar doesn't have money, therefore they are insecure. It's because they don't know they have the same thing that everybody else has. Everybody has 24 hours in a day, so does the beggar. Everybody
Mm.
has a mind, so does a beggar. Everybody has, you know, creativity, so does the beggar. But the beggar is not in recognizing I got, 10 fingers, 10 toes, two hands, exactly what
Mm.
everybody else has, and what they have, I have. The beggar starts obsessing about a form. Money. I need to alleviate my, discomfort. So when you focus on discomfort rather than security,
Mm.
you will experience in this world a loss of power. You will experience being overpowered by people, things, and experiences. So a woman, for example, typically might say, I need a man to love me. And again,
Mm,
she's okay. But she might think I'll be okay when I get the thing called somebody's attention or somebody's love. Like a
mm,
beggar might think I'll be okay when I get money. But they're okay all the while. But they're in a shrunken trance. They are in a trance. That trance has been called different things by different people at different time. Popularly, it's called Satan. You know what I mean? That trance that people buy into that's not good for them, that
mm,
causes them to believe in need. Like somebody might believe, I need cigarettes, then I'll be okay.
mm,
Or I need to smoke, take drugs, then I'll be okay. Or if I go to the casino and I win money, then I'll be okay. So all problems in a person's
mm,
life, and some of them are, like a woman living in an abusive relationship, or some might be drug addiction. All
mm,
problems have the same root cause. In my experience, 20 years plus in this experience of supporting people, that insecure people, there's no such thing as an insecure person, but there is somebody who believes they are insecure because they believe in need. So as long as you believe in need, you actually lose your creative power. The word you used early on was freedom. When you believe you need, you give
mm.
away your freedom to something, and in a sense, it becomes an idol, something that you're controlled by, something that you try to control. So whether it's a guy going to the casino trying to control the getting of money in a get rich quick kind of way, or they're controlled by substances and drugs, or they're controlled by money, or they're controlled by somebody's affection. So it's always the denial of the truth, which is right now, I really am okay. The sun rises and sets. We don't need to do anything to cause the sun to rise
Yeah.
and set. The earth is spinning on its axis. We don't need to do anything to keep the earth spinning. So nothing is required from us
Mm,
for our security. Our security is a given. The beggar will get up tomorrow morning, and so will the billionaire. You see, we
yeah.
all are going to be sustained in life. So we are all sustained in our existence. And the denial of that fact takes us into a trance state where we then feel needy. And I always say there's only one real problem: neediness. And it's not really a real problem, it is an illusory problem that people believe in need. So anybody who believes in need, that I am not okay as I am, one day when I get a degree, then I'll be okay. One day when
Mm.
I get some kind of qualification, then I'll be okay. As long as we believe
So,
we're not okay
mhm.
now, and one day we'll
So,
be okay, we will render ourselves poor.
so Ashraf, when I'm
Yes.
looking or listening to the word secure, the word security is really coming to mind as well. So I'm just wondering, what are we trying to protect? Because when you say, if somebody is actually trying to break into your house, you're going to say, you know what, somebody please call the security, or put up some type of guard in your house so you feel secure. I'm wondering, what is that part of us that we need to protect? What is that part? I'm thinking that it may be the ego, am I right? But which part of us is the one that needs to feel safe and protected and secure? Which part of us?
The one that believes we not okay, the one that denies the universal support. You see, when I said that the sun will rise and set whether human beings go to work or not, you understand, we can all go to sleep tonight, not fearing the sun is not going to rise tomorrow. There is a universal intelligence, again called by different names by different people, some kind of presence that has caused us to be because of which we are, and
Mm,
ensures that we continue to be. So there is a presence that assures our security. And this is the thing that originally the great founders of the great religions were actually teaching people. They were teaching people to trust, to trust that there is a power that has caused you to be, and it is a caring power, and it is a considerate power, and it is a compassionate power. It is with you always. It is for you always. It is interested in you and it is attentive to you. It responds to you. So I'm speaking in a non-religious way
mm,
because, to remind listeners and viewers, I am actually a scientist and I am not religious at all. So I'm not religious, but I am a spiritual scientist. And so we are in trances. So everybody who hurts themselves or hurts anybody else, so somebody who smokes cigarettes, right, is in a trance.
mm,
They're actually taking something that is not required. They believe they need it, and they coat their lungs with tar.
mm,
What they're doing is ensuring that they make it more difficult for oxygen to enter their bodies. Understand? Now, that's not a very wise thing to do. But when you speak to somebody who's in a trance about their behavior, they will rationalize. You see? Rational lies.
mm,
They'll give you a story. Ah, it's just pleasure. It's so
mm,
wonderful. It's my one vice, but I don't smoke that much. But they deny
mm.
that what they're really doing is destructive. So all kinds of self-destruction, whether cigarette smoking, drug taking, being
Mm.
or defeating or abusive, or any kind of living your life mediocre, at a mediocre level, not
Yes.
progressing, not empowering yourself, any kind of holding yourself back is a
Yeah.
universal tendency in all human beings to some degree or another. So I tell you this as a person who smoked for over 10 years,
Mm,
20 cigarettes a day. I
mm,
did drugs, substances, and all that. So we all have these trances, you and me included, that perpetuating our current levels of insecurity or self-deprivation. So ultimately, everybody is responsible for their experience of life. And so, what that
yeah.
means is the degree to which you are secure has got nothing to do with your partner, your boss,
Mm,
your government. It's got to do with you and releasing the belief in need. Notice I didn't say release need. There's no such thing as need. It's a perception of the mind.
mm,
It's for us to release the belief in need. But what does the trance of need do? It actually locks itself in. So when you tell a person you don't really need to smoke, there's all this value in not smoking. You save money, you benefit yourself. They will continue to smoke, chances are. Why? The trance is very insidious. So, like that,
mm.
we would rather sit and watch TV for hours every day rather than
Yes.
listen to a podcast like this. You know what I mean?
Mm,
We would rather maintain our levels of unconsciousness and neediness and act
mm,
from them. So, the need for safety, relief, and excitement, like you were speaking about, we try to put burglar guards to protect what our bodies, or we try to ensure something ourselves or our lives, in some
mm.
way. For what? To have something. So
Yeah.
whether it is protecting your body, it's a need for safety, or
Mm,
flirting with people consistently to the point where you can't have a real relationship with anybody, that's excitement.
mm,
So safety, relief, smoking a cigarette, taking drugs, eating when you're not hungry, gossiping. So
mm.
these, what is termed as sins in society,
Yeah.
these sins are more than religious. Don't do this or do that. It's actually what's in our best interest. So that's what
Mm,
we're coming back to, that each one of us is responsible for our level of security. However, we have subconscious self defeating mechanisms in place to keep ourselves at the same level of insecurity. And we
mm.
prevent ourselves from not only being insecure, but from interacting powerfully with ourselves and our lives. So the more
Yeah.
secure you are, the more selfful you can be, or in our language, personal empowered. Do you understand? The more
Mm,
personal developed you are, the more secure you are, the more you'll act in a way valuing
mm,
your money. You won't go and throw it in the casino. You
mm,
will value your partner. You won't treat them like dirt. You will value
mm.
your body. You won't put poisons in it. So the more secure you are, the less self-abandoning you will operate,
Mm.
and the more satisfaction you can have in life. So my teaching is basically
Mm.
about these three things: security, selffulness, and satisfaction. And all
Mm.
three have to be in that particular order.
Okay. Mm.
You can't really
Right.
have an enjoyable, satisfying, fulfilling life if
Mm.
you are insecure, you know.
Yes.
And I don't mean to run anybody down, but how many
Mm.
addicts have you seen really satisfied and fulfilled in life? How many beggars
Yeah.
have you seen really satisfied
Mm.
and fulfilled in life? So the more needy you are on anything, and the
Yeah.
more you are operating rather than an adult, you're operating as an addict, you can't get to fulfillment and satisfaction. You can't have the thing that everybody is seeking in life. It comes at a cost. You have to release insecurity. You have to empower yourself to live with a flow of money, a flow of love, a flow of health. All the things that people really want in life is
Yeah.
only for the secure. And the good news
No.
is we can all
Yeah.
go beyond insecurity
Mm.
into a higher level of security. Nobody and nothing. So your security levels, your money has got nothing to do with your security levels. Your
Yeah.
education level has got nothing to do. Whether you're in a relationship or not has got nothing to do. And that's the good news.
That's right. Yeah, that's 100% correct. But I really want to touch on or ask you about something that you mentioned. You know, you said that you used to smoke about 20 cigarettes a day and you spoke a bit about drugs. So let's talk a little bit about drugs actually. So actually, let's be more a little bit more specific. Let's talk about psychedelics. So I haven't taken any yet, but I would like to try some ayahuasca. And for those of you who don't know, ayahuasca is a plant that you can just ingest, you can drink, that sends you on a trip to experience interesting adventures of consciousness. Let's put it that way. So I've heard,
Yeah.
stories about people coming out of these trips and having the most profound wisdom of life, whether they're taking ayahuasca or even LSD or even shrooms. So
Right.
my thought or my question is, do you think that we should be looking at offering these to people as trips in the same way that we offer a package to go to travel externally? For example, going to Bali. Should we not also be traveling internally? Now, I'm not
Okay.
suggesting that we should all do drugs, but do you think that that's something that we should play around with? Because people have reported some interesting experiences. Some really
Yeah.
respected people in the world have taken some psychedelics and they've
Yeah.
reported interesting observations. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not for it and I'm not against it. I'm more on the natural side of things. I believe that to apply yourself in a natural way, you can have experience of love and peace and joy very, very naturally without doing those experiences. But it does involve you releasing those egoic identifications. So what happens is whether people do psychedelics or even if they do, um, you know, EMDR, what's it, the love drug,
Mm.
it's using something for a certain period to bypass your ego filters. You see, so when it does work, because it doesn't always work, some people have horrible trips as
Horrible
well.
trips.
Some people
Mm.
never recover from it. So there's a
Yeah,
heavy
yeah,
risk.
yeah,
So it's not always an
yeah,
amazing experience. Some people have a bad trip and sometimes they never recover from it. So it's risky.
yeah.
And
But that sounds like a
I
holiday, Ashraf. That sounds like a holiday. I've been on holidays where it was horrendous. From the time
yeah,
I landed in the other country, to being strip searched or losing something, losing my money or whatever it is. You
yeah,
you have bad holidays and you have really good holidays as well. But I'm
yeah,
talking about, like, you see, we are very limited. We can only do so much with our senses, our sight. We can only see we can only see that much. We can only hear that much. We can only taste that much. But I'm so curious about exploring the other realms of our consciousness and having different
Yes.
experiences of our reality. Because
Uh-huh.
when people take these shrooms or LSD or whatever it is, they report some really wonderful stuff. And I wonder if it was if we start to look into it more and start to take it more seriously, and if we can do it in a controlled environment. In other words, we have like this hotels where you kind of check in and you are sent
Yes.
on this trip. Because people have shared that, you know, they are under for 5 minutes, but it felt like they were under for 5 million lifetimes. That's how
Yes.
it's actually been.
Yeah. So there
Yeah.
are places in South Africa as well. I've had friends of mine do the ayahuasca tea ceremony. So you can do it. It is available. And for those that choose to do it, with the rational awareness, not for a quick fix. You understand?
Mm,
People who want to get quick rich or attract a soulmate quick or even have a very quick spiritual growth experience is
mm,
gone back into the addiction mode. Like I want it now. Let me, you can learn to nurture yourself and have a nourishing life. And it does require an application and a learning. Or you can
mm,
say, to hell with everything, let me just take whatever. So I fall into that. I'm more on the cautious side of things. And I
mm,
firmly believe no quick fixes. And you want to have an experience, like you're saying, a multidimensional experience. Start with what's possible, like love, self love, other love, divine love, unconditional love. This is natural, it's more sustainable, and it's something that doesn't go away, because again, dependency is what we're talking about here. I need something, then I'll be
mm,
able to. With this substance, I can become multidimensional. Do you understand? Now, what is that? Dependency on the substance. So, what if
mm,
you don't need, like you said yourself, beyond our eyes and beyond our hands and our senses? That's what I'm talking about, the multidimensional experience of security. You see,
mm,
what if there is a way of knowing yourself as a multidimensional being that does involve a dehypnotizing of yourself? What if we are so hypnotized
mm,
into I am Ashraf, and all our identities and our roles, and we're so absorbed into this world of form? Now we need to take something so that we can have a multidimensional experience. Now, same thing. I mean, people are taking Viagra. You understand? I
mm,
need to take this drug, then I can have a wonderful sexual experience. Really? Do you really? So, what happens when people start getting into this mindset? They actually start projecting more and more of their power out, actually disempowering themselves. Instead of saying,
mm,
how can I do this in a natural, easy way? Yes, it does involve learning, it does involve growth, it does
mm,
involve releasing. I got to do the spiritual work for me to have that
mm,
experience. So I wouldn't, as I said, I'm not against it, I'm not for it, but I wouldn't encourage
yeah,
somebody to think that, you know what, I'll just take something and I'll be okay, whether it's Viagra, whether it's
yeah,
ayahuasca or anything. I would
yeah,
suggest to a person to develop their multidimensional being, to be aware of peace, to be aware of love, to be aware of security. And
mm,
so these energy states actually benefit the body.
yeah,
So we know that the medical model and the science model actually denies consciousness. That the medical model and the scientific model, even psychology and psychiatry, they never use the word love, they never use the word peace. You can go through and study a whole psychology degree and even postgraduate degrees. You can become a big shot counselor and therapist,
mm,
psychiatrist included. They will never teach you the word love and peace and joy and faith. And one would expect the psychologist and the psychiatrist got to know about joy because that's what people want and love. But
yeah,
they have not had a single word
mm,
in their whole study dedicated to these words like peace, love, joy, faith,
mm,
trust, and security. So they know nothing about this. Why? Because the medical
Mm.
model suggests that all we are is these biological entities with a brain,
Yes.
and the brain produces a chemistry. And so if you're not feeling good, it's because of your brain chemistry, and your brain chemistry is not right. Now, this
Mm.
understanding, from my perspective, is ancient. You know, I mean, it's worse
Mm.
than primitive, because
Yes.
scientific fact tells us the moment you experience love and peace and joy, your immune response increases, your immunity picks up. So the medical model, the psychological and scientific model will tell us what? That no,
Mm.
love is not a real state. Now, you and I both know love is an electromagnetic state. It's a multidimensional state.
Mm.
Appreciation, joy. These are spiritual energies, meaning these are five-dimensional energies. These are energies
Mm.
that exist, but because you identified with your body, and you identified with your mind and your behavior, and you identified with what's happening around you, you're not connecting to these fifth dimensional, aka
Yeah.
spiritual energies, and you are not experiencing the value
Mm.
that it does for your body, your being, your life. A tonic, an elixir,
Mm.
free of charge. You can't sell it in a capsule, can't sell it in a
That's
bottle,
right.
but you can experience it.
So, speaking about, being able to just produce our own drugs, our own ayahuasca. I know that at the moment of our death, from our brain, we do release the substance called DMT. And I know
Yes.
that Steve Jobs, just before he actually passed away, he said one word three times. He said, "Wow, wow, wow." And people say that at that moment, it was the DMT that was actually being released. So we have this ability to, I don't know if maybe one day we can learn how to consciously release that DMT so we don't have to get the drug from the outside. But what if, we made it possible to take these drugs, but it is only for people that felt really secure about themselves? Because, for
Yeah.
example, I love to eat ice cream. I would love to eat ice cream. Right now, we are in lockdown and I haven't had a chance to have an ice cream. But I know even when I eat that ice cream, I'm not going to go out and buy an ice cream every day of my life, because I know that if I eat
Yes.
ice cream, it's going to have certain consequences on my life. So in the
Yes.
same way, I know that I can't travel every day to another country because I know that there will be certain consequences on my life. So I think maybe we can get to a world where we live in a society where people are feeling secure, then we can start to offer these things, because human beings become addicts to everything, whether it's food,
Yeah.
a pie, a
That's what I'm
drink,
thinking.
coffee, everything. No matter what, people will find a way to become addicted to it.
So
So
if somebody believes I felt good after I took ayahuasca, and I can't feel that good normally, then that's
yes.
exactly what's going to happen. So you're going to
Mm,
have people saying, I want another hit and another hit and another, and before you
that's
know
the
it, they're
thing.
going to be controlled by it, and their lives are going to be not in balance and out of balance, and they're going to try and control the way they feel with that. So I personally, as I said, I'm not for it, I'm not against it, but in the way that you're speaking about it, if somebody has been on a spiritual path for many years, and they have
Mm,
demonstrated a security within themselves, a peace, a love,
mm,
a joy now, that they have that level of easy connection with the fifth dimension, that they are beyond their ego, their separate self, to the dimension they can be more loving, the more caring, the more secure,
mm,
feeling supported by universal support. Then along their progression for where they are, that might be used. You understand? That could be something that can be used to facilitate a wonderful holiday for the secure. You know what I mean?
yes,
Then, and
absolutely.
that's like how you eat a lovely meal.
Yeah.
You eat it, you enjoy it, say thank you so much, that was but don't keep eating it over and
Yeah,
over. Do you
that's
understand?
that's right.
So
That's right.
so there is a place for it. My father always said time and place for everything. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, for
But
ayahuasca, for psychedelics too, I suppose.
you mentioned the drug Viagra, and I've started thinking about sex now and the orgasm. I always wonder, imagine if we could um, have an extended orgasm. Because a pig,
Yeah.
I know pigs have a half an hour orgasm. So
Yeah.
we have the ability, they actually say that when you have an orgasm, it's the closest thing, and I know this might really offend some people when I'm going to say this, but they say that when you have an orgasm, it's the closest thing to experiencing God. It's that
Yeah.
ecstasy, that
Yeah.
nirvana. So we have
Mm-hmm.
within ourselves the ability to have that natural high. But how can we
Mm-hmm.
access that feeling of having an orgasm without having the orgasm? Do you think that's possible to,
Mm-hmm.
because everything is made on the inside of us. Somehow the body is releasing something, from somewhere that's allowing us to have this euphoric sensation in every part of
Yeah.
our body.
So I'll say two things. One, the body's sensations
Mm,
are pleasurable, but they still sensations. And what really is the thing is that the person who's able to enjoy those sensations. So I can, you can give a person who's secure a fine meal, and we can give a person on the street corner a fine meal, but the one person is going to appreciate it more than the other. For somebody, the
mm,
meal is only a hunger alleviator. Somebody else, it's an experience of taste. So although different people have sexual orgasm, their level of security determines their experience of pleasure. The more secure you are, the more you will enjoy pleasure, you see. So insecure people get addicted to physical orgasm because there is a lot of chemical changes that takes place in the body. So even pornography, when a person is viewing pornography or indulging in some way, there are changes that take place in the person's body. They go through arousal, chemical changes,
mm,
and all the way to climax. So it's very a lot of changes are taking place in the body. And if you haven't developed yourself to feel secure, which is good feeling, that's got nothing to do with this world, good feeling that's got to do with the fifth dimensional world of energies of peace, joy, pleasure, and so on and so fun and play, the more secure you are, the more you can actually be aware of and experience the orgasm rather than being lost in it and controlled by it. So people who
mm,
are addicted to sexuality or sex are addicted to the body's chemical changes, and then they believe they need those changes to take place because it feels real, it feels strong, and so that's how they get hooked onto it. But the more secure you are, then you can choose sexuality and you can enjoy sexuality. And the more secure you are, the more you'll be able to focus on a partner that is pleasing for you to be with and attractive for you. So the more secure a person is, they will pick, choose, and refuse who they want to engage with
mm,
sexually. The less insecure a person is, they'll have sex with anybody who's available. Do you understand? And so the more secure you are, the more you enjoy sex. And not only that, the more you'll support enjoyable, a more pleasant, pleasing, pleasurable experience of sexuality, while an insecure person will just get hooked on that physical
mm,
sensation. So again, there are people you may see driving on the streets of South Africa or anywhere in the world, and they will pick up people on the side of the road. You understand? Now, a sensible person like you and me will think like, what is up with that? Do you understand? But for
mm,
that person, the need to experience the biological changes in their body, and they control by it, and that's what powerless addiction is all about. That's why I said when you are secure, you will behave like an adult. When you are insecure, you behave like a child. An addict is like a child. Do you understand? I just want what I want when I want it. So just going out and paying for sex with the sort of situation in the country and in the world with people who may have diseases and so-called, they can't see it. They're not thinking properly. Do you understand? So when you're in an addicted state, when you're in a trance, you can't see what you're doing. Others might look at it and say you're playing with your life. But so controlled are we by the things of this world when we're insecure, whether it's money. We'll do jobs like prostitutes. Do you understand? Just tell me how much it pays. As long as I get money, I will do it. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
that's no different from somebody saying, I just need to, have sex, and anyway I can pay for it quickly. So a person who's secure will invest in a relationship, get involved, care, give love, receive love. Of course, choose the person you want to be with, and then
Mm.
engage in beautiful experience with that particular person, with affection and caring, and also the physical act, you understand, compared to I just need to now have a physical experience and
Mm.
anybody will do. So we're seeing that the more secure you are, the more you can really participate in life, enjoying life and having true satisfaction. So satisfaction, it doesn't mean you have sex, you're satisfied. It might just mean I'm relieved for that moment. Like a drug addict might smoke a cigarette. It doesn't mean they're satisfied. A cigarette doesn't satisfy anybody. You understand?
Mm.
So it doesn't mean somebody got paid at the end of the month, they got satisfied. You are satisfied doing something you love and you receive that money. You are satisfied being secure with somebody, you're secure with giving and receiving love and caring, and you enjoy sexuality with that person. That's satisfaction. So we don't have in our society, and that's why I spent over
Mm.
20 years traveling across South Africa, which I still do, and now it's online because of lockdown. But teaching
Mhm.
people about security, how important your security levels are. No school, no university. I don't know of religious organizations that actually teach, or homes that teach people about security and how important personal security is, and how that relates to how we interact in life, how we conduct ourselves, how we carry ourselves. Not looking for quick short term gratification, but actually investing, engaging, giving, and receiving, having the people in your life that you can enjoy yourself with, and then experiencing satisfaction and fulfillment. So the three S's are security, selffulness, and satisfaction. And that's what
Mm.
personal success is to me. And that's why we call it the blissful living teachings. You see, blissful living. Bliss
Mm.
is a spiritual,
Yeah.
bliss. It's in India they have a word for it, bliss. Ananda, bliss.
Ananda.
So
Mm.
it's it's really first doing the work to drop the false self, the insecure self, the needy self, to recognize you are okay, everything is okay, nothing is needed. And once you are feeling more secure, which I told you, it's got nothing to do with money or having any. You can't tell me I'm not secure because I don't have money, or I'm not secure
Mm.
because I'm too fat or too thin or whatever. You can't tell me I'm insecure, because the only thing that makes you insecure is your choice to believe a lie, the lie of need. And the moment you believe the lie of need, you become dependent. So whether it's ayahuasca, if you are non-dependent on it, if you can say, I don't need to do it, but I can use it to have an enjoyable, satisfying experience, you can go ahead and do it because you
Mm.
are secure, you are selfful. It's really a holiday, because nobody really says, I need a holiday, I must go on a holiday, because that's addiction. But if you say, I don't
Yeah.
need to go on a holiday, but you know
Yeah.
what, it'll be great. You know what, we
Yeah.
have a party.
Mm.
You know what, it'll be fun. It'll be different.
Yeah.
So if it's done in that particular way, you see, if anything is done in that way, which means choosing it, choice is an indication that you are secure. Compulsion, I need to, I have to, I must, is an indication that you are insecure. So
Mm.
this is basically, the content of the work that I share with people, as you are
Yes.
aware of.
Yes.
And anybody who's prepared to learn, anybody who's really saying, and everybody can become more secure. Well, actually, you can't
Mm.
become more secure because you are already secure, but you can become
Mm.
less insecure. You can have more the experiencing of security. And it's got nothing to do with your thinking, it's got nothing to do with your believing, it's got nothing to do with your body, it's your awareness. See, what am I not aware of in this moment? That the awareness of it would free me and liberate me. So one great master said it like this, and you shall know the truth, and it shall set you free. So
Mm.
what is the truth that I'm unaware of? You see, now people
Mm.
don't want to learn generally. My experience is
Yeah.
people have a trance that keeps them insecure, keeps them disempowered, and keeps them depriving themselves. So we are all, to some degree or another, just keeping ourselves from feeling better naturally. We're all keeping ourselves from being more nurturing of ourselves and others, and more nourishing
Mm.
of our own lives and others. And we are keeping ourselves from the opportunities that exist to be and become, and the options to live and experience. So we all can actually develop ourselves and grow, but sadly, in our society and in the world as we know it, learning is not given especially spiritual learning, spiritual growth, personal development. The ego
Yes.
says, but no, I rather just want to show off I'm okay, or I have this. So the ego keeps us feeding the need for relief, safety, and excitement, when we could rather release the need and experience freedom. So what would you choose? You see, what would
Mm.
you choose? I would choose freedom rather than feeding a need. But not everybody makes that choice. You see, I would rather choose freedom than smoking a cigarette, being in bondage to a cigarette, controlled by a substance. A person might say, hey, the cigarette is tops, but freedom is even better. But we don't know what freedom is. People don't understand what is the actual awareness and experience
Mm.
of freedom. Because if you knew it, you'd choose it. But people don't know it. So what happens is people would say, I'd rather smoke the cigarette and relieve myself. I'd rather be addicted to porn and relieve myself rather than experiencing being free. But let me tell you, being free is truly a remarkable thing. And when you know you're free and you're not controlled by the world and you don't try and control the world, that's when life really, really gets enjoyable.
Mm.
Freedom, you see. So self-consciousness, be aware of the aspects of yourself that are needy. You see, we have that ability to actually be aware of, where am I controlled by? So what am I controlled by? What am I trying to control? If you ask yourself this question, what am I controlled by in my life? When I get up in the morning, throughout the day, and I go to bed, what
Mm.
controls me? Because the choice is either you control or you're free. If you're free, you can just grow and develop and expand your potential and the possibilities.
Mm.
But if you get up in the morning and you're controlled by something, or you're trying to control something, you just maintain the same you've always been. And guess what? You're just going to live out without any growth and without any development. And that's the question I ask myself every day. What's the purpose of life? I ask
Mm.
myself, what's the purpose of my life? You said this show is for people who ask questions, and people who are interested beyond the everyday, mundane, same BS belief systems over and over again. So for me, the
Yes.
purpose of life is to grow beyond my who I've been. Who I've been, I grow beyond who I've been. How I interact is to go beyond how I interact. And what I've experienced in life, to go beyond it. That is my purpose in life. That is what I
Mm.
support other people in having the experience of. Am I the same person I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago? I want to go beyond who I've been. I want to be more secure than I've been. I want to be more adult and more, giving and more
Mm.
experiencing. So that is the purpose of life for me. And
So,
thanks again for giving me this opportunity to share it.
yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Ashraf. So, I just want to ask you, if I want to drive the Ferrari, but I don't need to drive the Ferrari, then I open myself up to having the experience of driving the Ferrari. Is that right? What I'm saying?
Ferrari level is satisfaction. You must go before that one step, selffulness. Only a
Mm.
selfful person can have a satisfying experience. No person that is self-abandoning is going to have a satisfying experience. So in society, we're so like physically focused. So we're looking for, what's the thing? What if I have the beautiful woman in my bed? Or what if I have that lovely car? And what if I
Mm.
have that apartment? So we're so focused on having something that we don't realize that it's not really about that thing. It's the experience of enjoying that thing. Can you enjoy your partner? Can you appreciate your partner? Can you enjoy your partner, which is the same thing? Can you enjoy that motor vehicle? Can you enjoy that experience of the Ferrari? It's not about if I got that Ferrari, I'll be so happy and everybody will know I'm driving this Ferrari and I'm now made it in the world and everybody will know now I made it in the world. So it's about enjoying the things of this world. It's not about money, it's about enjoying money. It's not about your partner, it's about enjoying your partner. It's not about like having money, it's what money can do for you, for your joy and your enjoyment. It's not about having a partner, it's what your partner can support you with in your joy and enjoyment. So before you look at the world and having things in the world, understand this. Are you open to enjoying the having of it? Or is it exciting? You see, that's what I said. When you are in the insecure
Yes.
self, the needy part, the person is excited by having, and that's why you don't have it. Do you notice that whenever you need something or you're excited about it, it never works out? But for the people who are easy in life and don't get excited and don't need it, they attract it into their lives like automatically because they don't
Absolutely.
attribute power to something. Something is going to make me feel better. That car is going to make me feel okay. That woman is going to make me feel okay. That degree is going to
Mm.
make me feel okay. That position is going to make me feel okay. So if you are looking to something in the world to feel okay, you are
Yes.
actually rendering yourself a beggar, and beggars
Yes.
cannot have that. So
Correct.
before you focus on what is it that I want to have, you must ask yourself the question, can I enjoy that? You see,
Mm.
the money beggar cannot enjoy money. If you give a beggar 10,000 rand, within a day, all the money short of 100 rand will be gone because they have no meaning to beyond 100 rand a day.
Mm.
Shelter, bread, food, this can be maybe 60 rand a day. For a beggar, it's too much money. But they don't understand beyond 60 rand a day. Their consciousness is not beyond 60 rand a day. Sometimes
Mm.
we can give a beggar a lovely jacket. Within a day, the jacket is gone and they're back to square one. I don't know if you noticed it because they don't know comfort and luxury and they can't enjoy it. They just need to avoid suffering, avoid starvation, avoid. So
Mm.
a beggar, if you give a beggar something valuable, it can't remain with them because they don't appreciate and value it. They don't have the consciousness of recognizing its value. So, if you want to have anything in the world, you have to be the person who can appreciate and recognize its value. That means you've got to be a selfful person and means a
Yes.
personal developed person. You have to be a developed person. Have you ever seen anybody really successful in life that is not a developed person? Whether
Mm.
it's Richard Branson and a lot of the people you know and you
Yeah.
study, these are developed human beings. But who
Mm.
can develop themselves? Secure
Yeah.
people. So it always starts off with security, go into, which is spiritual growth,
Yes.
and then move into personal development, which is selffulness, and then comes satisfaction. You want to be satisfied in life. You and I have the high quality people, things, and experiences. You
Mm.
have to be that level of individual who can receive it and enjoy
Correct.
it. Be that
And
level, you have to be secure.
and I just want to share with the people that you don't have to have the 5 million rand to buy the Ferrari or to have the experience rather of driving the Ferrari. I can share, and Ashraf, that there are many experiences that I've brought into my reality that did not involve me directly having the money first to actually have the experience. So,
Yeah.
people, what Ashraf is sharing is 100% on the button, in that if you are feeling secure about yourself, you can bring about into your waking reality the experience that you wish to have. You don't have it. It's not that you have to have A in order to have B. You can move into having that experience.
Yes, you've demonstrated it so many times that when
Yeah.
you when you just relaxed and eased up and you said,
Mm.
I'd like to travel across the world. I mean, you've done it now close to about a dozen times of just
Yeah,
traveling
yeah.
all over the world. You didn't need to. You didn't say, I need to, I have to, I
Mm.
must. You just relaxed. You were secure. You reached into your true self with purpose and meaning. Every one of your trips came from a valuing of an experience. The moment you, within your inner being, not in your brain, not in
Yes.
your body, not in your emotions, you attributed meaning. You said that is of value to me because
Mm.
dot dot dot. And when you did that, it materialized, sources unknown, ways unexpected. And what are we talking
Mm.
about here? We're talking about faith. We're talking about prayer in a different language. You understand? It's a universal thing about true faith, actual faith, that that there is a power that is beyond the material, but is
Mm.
sustaining us and supporting our satisfaction. If you relax and you feel okay, and you begin to focus through your imagination, through your inner world, of something that is heartfelt, as you focus on that, that is brought forth into your waking reality, as you said. So you've demonstrated it, I've demonstrated it, and
Yes, of
anybody
course.
can demonstrate it. But you can't
So,
be needy. You have to let go of the neediness.
so I want to put it. I want to actually put out a real challenge to you, Ashraf, and to me. Uh, and there's no time to this, but I want us to both say to the people, look, we are going to be having the experience of driving this Ferrari, and we are going to be posting the pictures up on our social platforms. And this is not going to be a car that we're going to borrow or rent out for a day, but we're going to have the freedom to be able to drive this Ferrari whenever our heart's desires. Are you with me on this challenge to have this experience? There's no time on it.
For me, a Ferrari is going to be more a nuisance in my life than a pleasure,
Okay, right.
because I'm traveling. Where am I going to park it?
Okay,
It's just going to lie there. So if you give me some chance to think about what will be relevant to me
right.
and
Okay,
valuable to me, I can give it some thought. Okay, for
okay. We'll come
me,
back.
what it is to
Yes.
to have a to so you see, having anything in your life is not just from your mind. It has to be heartfelt, and your heart
Mm,
must be in it, as you've
mm,
manifested in your life everything that was meaningful to you. So of course, for you, that is enjoyable, fun, and meaningful for you. That's awesome. But for me, at this point in my life, I think my vision is to have to take this work internationally, and that's the thing that inspires me and enthuses me, like how you might be
yeah.
thinking of that, which is wonderful. It's just that I've
Yeah.
had the cars with turbos, I've lived in the
Yeah.
mansions,
Yes.
I've
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I've been there, done that. But now the
Mm,
frontiers for me, for where I am, is
mm,
to demonstrate that, so maybe it might be to demonstrate that level of freedom that having that car
mm.
would indicate. So I think that's what you're saying, that level of freedom.
Yes.
So it's really that level of freedom to do what you want to do whenever
Yeah.
you want to do it. That's what you're saying, and you're just using
I
that
want to
as a
play.
context.
I want to play because
Have
I
fun.
enjoy playing with life and I enjoy being able to manifest stuff. Because quite honestly, I mean, I don't desire a Ferrari, but I do desire to be able to play in this reality of mine. I enjoy
So
having different
freedom,
experiences. Yeah,
freedom. So I
yeah,
accept that challenge, that to live as freely as
yeah.
beyond my current level of freedom, because I'm on that path anyway. You understand? As I said, as long as today I'm freer than yesterday, I'm less needy than yesterday. That's what it's about. As long as today I'm more an adult than I was
Yeah.
yesterday. When I say adult, I mean beyond an addict, and
Mm,
living in a way that is very less than supportive of joy and enjoyment. No addict. You can't speak to a beggar
yeah,
about financial investments.
of
You
course.
can't speak to an addict about joy. You can't
Mm,
speak to a love beggar about a fulfilling relationship. So I
mm,
am on that path, and I accept that, and I'm on that path to demonstrating, as you're saying, that level of freedom,
Mm.
to be able to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it, and to demonstrate it to the world. So I accept that. I'm on that path, and I'm getting there more and more. And
Great.
so, yeah, freedom, demonstrating freedom.
Thanks, Ashraf.
Because
Right. So,
the best way is to demonstrate what you're teaching. You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Ashraf,
great.
it has been an amazing hour with you. I think it's gone just over an hour, but it's been really wonderful chatting. How can the people find you? Where can they find your work? How do they get in touch with you to learn more about Ashraf Moorad and the Blissful Living Foundation?
The easiest way is to send me a WhatsApp on
Okay, right.
082 752 6969. I am setting up some platforms on the
Hmm.
web and so on and so forth. But for now, the easiest way is send me a WhatsApp on 082 752 6969, and then I will point you to the different websites that you can look at and that are being developed at the moment. You
Excellent.
know,
Ashraf, it's been a real pleasure to have you. Thank you for making time
yes.
to have a chat with us. I'm sure whoever has listened has most certainly shifted or has definitely has a lot to actually think about. You shared true gems, true gems of wisdom with us this evening. Thank you, Ashraf. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
And thank you all for listening or even watching. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to hit that like button and share this episode with your friends. And I shall see you again on the next episode of In Conversation with the Masters.